Hello all, welcome to Success Channel. Today we are going to discuss about pandemic legal intelligence. Let's welcome our esteemed speaker, Mr. Anand Mishra. He is managing partner and founder AM Legals Mumbai. He has 23 years experience into international arbitration, GST, customs, Companies Act, IBC, Contract Act, IPR, white collar crimes, etc. So let us start. Ananda, we would like to understand what is pandemic legal intelligence and how does it help businesses?
See, if I will say that is what drives a business, of course, profit, and the entire business is carried out for the profit. So that is the one element, and everything revolves around it. So when the profit is the epicenter of any business, then whatever the safeguard, whatever the remedies, what you apply, as well as whatever the intelligence to maintain yourself and to take it to the next level or even sustaining and the new facet of business, because see the pandemic legal intelligence, why I have said, in fact we were the first to coin this particular term, that legal intelligence is something which is the normal in a normal business cycle. But given the fact that now we have a pandemic, and then during the pandemic, if whatever the business cycle will be carried out, it will be, of course, a pandemic business cycle. And so, whatever the legal intelligence which you have to deploy during a pandemic business cycle will definitely be a pandemic legal intelligence. And even otherwise, to run a business and to sustain, you require the most is strategy. Say whether you have a disruptive strategy or a normal strategy, and if I say whether the marketing, sales, production, procurement, everywhere you have a strategy, then what about a legal strategy, which is the main factor for any business? Because ultimately every business you run, you document it. Your every business transaction, your every decision has some implication. So what about those implications? How you are countering those implications, and what are your preparedness towards those challenges or unforeseen liabilities? I don't say that the people are not doing it. Of course, everybody is doing it. But the thing is, many times what happens, if the things are either not anticipated, just like pandemic, nobody has ever thought that we will be working for almost a year. We
Right.
started from 2020 and now 2021 is already there. So these are the things, and there are a lot of things which you need to devise and implement with a constant review cycle. So that is, I say, a 360-degree review in every stage of your business, and that constitute your legal intelligence.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Anand, how important do you think the force majeure clause has proved to be and will be in the future?
Abhijit, there is a very interesting story behind force majeure, particularly during the COVID and prior to the COVID. See, in China, of course, force majeure was already in operation because they had seen this COVID 19 god or goddess, whatever you say,
Right.
much before India. So, in February, we were asked by the EGLA, that is the Elite Global Legal Association, where we are also the member, only member from India. So they had sought a exhaustive write-up on the force measure. So on 28th of February, our force measure article was already published. That is the one part of it. Now, when everybody started talking about the force measure, maybe in April and or May, then the very first thing which cropped up, that is whether those circumstances to shield you from the other implications, or you can take the help of force measure, whether that was existing in the contract or otherwise. To our surprise, everybody was talking about force measure as if it is going to help, without even bothering whether that particular aspect was well taken in your boiler plate clauses, like force measure, which was the only till the time of COVID, everybody was using it in a cyclo styled manner. Okay, every contract will have force measure clause. So force majeure clause definitely helped. I won't say enter into more legal jargons or something like that. Everybody knows about it. I will only say it is a creation of a contract which you create. When you create, then it is enforceable in law. But if you don't create it, you don't specify in a categorical manner, then it won't help you. So we have seen that a lot of people were talking about force measure. We will apply force measure, notices for force measure, but we had to say, gentlemen, please refer your contract. Whether the particular situation has been incorporated in the body of your contract or otherwise.
Right.
So that was the main thing, and not that. It has held only for those who had this element in the contract and they have timely invoked, and in the manner prescribed, they have complied with that manner. So, what was ought to be done, if had been done, and in those stipulated conditions, to those only it is going to help, and it has helped. Not to everyone who has just taken a shelter of any expression or something, interpretation, and said, okay, apply and we will see. For them, I am afraid it will be on a case to case basis.
Right. Now, most of the employees are working from home, and the main issue before the employer is how he can regulate these employees. So, in
Yeah.
absence of legislations, what do you think? How employers should regulate these employees?
Yeah, actually, there are very interesting aspects to it. Again, I will say, see, if you will see the whatever the regulations or the orders or the state government legislations, also, of course, to be read with the central government, whatever the laws enacted so far, none of them prescribe something like work from home, right? But having said that, there are certain expressions whereby definitely a work carried out can be construed to be a place where your particular employee is working for the business ultimately. I'm not saying in a very strict manner, I mean in a broader manner, because the intent and purpose for which whatever expression is deployed in a regulation or act, that has to be understood. Having said that, definitely there is nothing but in that case, you have a contract. You have entered into a contract. An employee has entered into a contract. So both are binding upon it and looking to the situation. Definitely, they can always come out. They can review it till the time it is not unreasonable. So the reasonableness has to be observed. Till the time reasonableness will be observed, and they will be formulating a policy to safeguard their interest. I mean, say, I mean, employers' interest, the privacy, which will be the very biggest challenge. And we are very much afraid that the moment when everything will be offline and everybody will be shifting to offices, then lot of things will be unfolded and lot of things will come into existence. Oh my God, this has already happened, but we could not assess. So those things cannot be ruled out. And there are a lot of aspects to it. But the only thing is you should have a well formulated work from home policies with articulated do's and don'ts, and then reasonableness, which should bind both the things. Definitely, that will, of course, help, and you don't require any other special regulation or law for that. Your contract is already there, and your HR policy can always be revised. So you can definitely.
Right. Okay. Nowadays, it's a age of social media, and people write a lot of things about or provide their own opinions on various issues. So, what do you think if somebody posts some wrong stuff on the social media, whether employer is vicariously liable for that?
Those things we will regularly see in other parts of the world. There are a lot of precedents that their tribunals have consistently held and rather upheld the termination. Having said that, there are three elemental factors I can broadly define. Is the firstly whether that particular posting was in the personal capacity, and that posting was in what context made, right? And the third thing, what is the social media policy of a company? Unfortunately, We hardly see the companies, though we all are realizing, in fact, we are also advising, we are also making a lot of things, work from home policy and social media policy regularly, helping the clients also. But the thing is, whether it was posted in his personal capacity, that has to be proved at the first place. Second thing is, what is the policy of the employee of an organization if such type of things takes place? If not, then what was the action? Reasonableness. Again, I have to use this terminology because the relationship between an employee and employer, there you will always find this particular thing. All disputes arises or any problems is settled only when you deploy the reasonableness. So if that reasonableness is observed by any company, they must have be having an ethical policy. They take action, just like in March, I think around late March in 2020, we had seen from a one IT company, some employee had posted. So FIR was lost, and then I think company also sacked him. So these type of things are very normal thing to safeguard the interest of the company. So ultimately, I say it is not an absolute thing yet. This liability will be on the company. It will be in the context. And if it is only in the personal capacity of that particular employee, then company cannot be liable to. But let me caution here. The thing is, now the situation is all are working from home. So when you are working from home, a school of thought may arise that everything is regulated while or every business activity is carried out by an employee while sitting at home, right? So what sort of measure that company has taken or in what context it has been, so it will be again a subjective, but in more than 99% of cases it won't be. So but there can be a school of debate also. A cautious approach has to be adopted by every employee. If you don't have, deploy a social media policy and ask any employee that if they are posting, to put one disclaimer that it is in their personal view or it is their personal view alone.
Right. What measures we should take to properly deal with post-pandemic litigations?
Yes, this is the very, I will say, the most sensitive thing which either the company have consciously thought about it or they are yet to see when the issues will crop. Now the thing is, try to realize we all company, every company, some company may have little impact, some may have more. So the parameter is not fixed, neither it is visible as of now. But ultimately, every business cycle has been impacted. So it's a time to review your business cycle, your particularly your organization itself. And then you see what is the business cycle and what are the factors which impacts your vendors or your buyers also. So if they are in trouble, ultimately that hardship may be knowingly or unknowingly it will get shifted to you by way of financial issue. Because if you have to take money or they owe your money, if they are not able to pay you, then it will have an impact on yourself. So it's a time every organization should constantly review the business cycle of their organization, or if there is any change or the policy change, how it has impacted, along with the vendors and buyers. Then you can assess ki, yes, where you stand. You don't only judge ki, okay, thanks God we have only 100 cases during the pandemic. It is not so. Where the most of the people will be relieved, that is the point where I see ki, no, something is fishy.
Right. And do you see any changes in mindset of people in relation to
Of
litigation?
course, of course, of course. See, we are all human beings,
Right.
but ultimately we have also a short memory. So these two things I will try to justify. The very first thing is we have a habit till such time we have indulged, rather, I will say, I will not use the term entered. I will say we have not indulged in a lot of litigations unless it was very important. So that is the call what we have taken. Every organization, most of the organization. But the second thing, we are ultimately human being and we have a short memory. So after a certain period of time, we will be again on that track, maybe due to the internal again evaluation or review of the facts or an advice from an external any person, maybe persons like me. So that
Right.
cannot be ruled out. So I see definitely. And I will say another thing is just like business, or if I will say spring, if compressed and when then released.
Right.
So that situation cannot be ruled out. I'm not an astrologer.
Right. True.
I'm going by the experience, and ultimately, we all are human beings, whether we or judges or any person. So I'm going by that.
Right. And Ananda, what is your suggestion to organizations post COVID? What they should do?
See, I tell you, this is the most significant part. I am sure the most of the seasoned professionals like you must have taken a review. It is a beautiful time when you have to realize many things in the law. The first thing is this pandemic business cycle has shown different facets of business. And we have seen the unexpected things, right? Still, most of the people are working from home. We are yet to see that how it will be the thing when we will be working again full-fledged manner, in a full-fledged manner. So that is the one part. So second thing is a lot of new laws have changed and a lot of new laws have also come. The IBC is suspended till 25th of March 2021. So there will be again a different shift of, I will say, a volcano, I will say. Everybody is sitting on a volcano, which will again become an active with the IBC.
Right.
The second thing is MSMED Act will be again used in a very big manner. In fact, we are seeing this trend. Third thing is the new law, which Consumer Protection Act, finally it has got a teeth. So that is also going to be a very dangerous thing. And privacy bill, the data privacy bill, again, I think if it is in this session, if it comes out, then that will be again a very big challenge. And then the new laws which have come, there are a lot of changes in various laws. So it is a high time when every person holistically review all the impact of each and every law to your business model, how your documents you make, what are the terms and condition, what are the bad experiences you had when these laws or these situations were not there. Then anticipate even these things were not there. We had so many bad circumstances that led to dispute differences, disputes and litigation, because every litigation has a cycle. It starts with the difference, then if it is not settled, then it leads to the second stage, that is the dispute. Not settled, then it goes to litigation or the arbitration way, whatever. Ultimately this cycle everyone has to cross.
True.
In addition to that, you have to see this time very holistically that what are your contracts? Have you really taken care of your contracts very properly? I will say again review, especially for the boiler plate clauses, which were the tail end clauses, which nobody cared till the time we saw the force measure and all other repercussions of it. So see those things very categorically. And whatever the laws have changed, whatever the bad experiences have taken place in the past, and going by the new laws, whether it is in the IBC, MSMED Act, I will say the GST also, anti-profiteering in that. There are a lot of fake GST also, and there are a lot of other things. Then data privacy and all. So incorporate those things, have a brainstorming, and wherever required, definitely also take help of neutral or the third party. I mean, the extended legal team or the law firm lawyer. Have a particular thing, plan it for the next 5 to 10 years. That will give you a better way to come out of these things. Because ultimately, either you spend your time, energy, money in preventing disputes or minimizing that the chances of litigation, or leave it, or you double that quantum and face the litigation.
Right.
Choice.
Yeah, it was a great suggestion basically for any organization, small or big. It was great discussion also. Thanks for joining Success Channel and sharing your knowledge today. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.